Hey everyone, Nub Tactics here. It's a new type Lumina patch, finally. And with that, a slew of both system and character specific changes. You know what that means. This video is going to cover notable system and Aoko specific changes, as well as some of the implications that they have on Aoko's gameplay and her combo routing. Thankfully, everything that currently exists for Aoko's combo routing still works post-patch, so we don't have to worry about her losing any combos. Moon skills have received a bit of an overhaul in their function. Each time you cancel onto a moon skill on hit, it consumes one moon icon instead of 3. If you cancel into moon skill on block, 2 moon icons are consumed. There's a slight quirk where if you moon skill cancel out of Aoko's charge JC beam hit, it still consumes 3 moon icons. This is likely a bug. Additionally, moon skills deal a significantly increased amount of damage to the vital source, colloquially known as grey health, as well as doing a fixed amount of grey health damage for the first moon skill used in a combo. In fact, hitting moon skill raw now deals more grey health damage than it does hit point damage. These two changes fundamentally make it so that moon skill usage and combos are more important across the board, as reducing the opponent's potential healing over the course of the round becomes a very viable and important element of play. Healing during heat has increased with this patch as well, so the less grey health the opponent can heal, the better it is for you. With that in mind, it's now typically always better to cancel into a moon skill to build more meter, get that grey health damage, and do anywhere from a bit to a lot more hit point damage. Aoko was previously not a character heavily reliant on moon skills as combo filler, but with this change we may expect to see more moon skill combos surface and flourish. And as a minor note, moon skills used to actually start up 1 frame faster if you were in moon drive, but there has been a hidden adjustment to the game so that moon skills are simply 1 frame faster, regardless of whether you're in moon drive or not. You can no longer re-shield after your shield B attack gets shielded. This is a universal change, but I wanted to mention this as Aoko has plenty of zoning and therefore it's a bit more common to see opponents try to shield B against her beams and her orbs. So just be more aware of the reward for counter-shielding the shield B follow-up, so that you can make sure to score some free damage on your opponents whenever they fumble. That's all of the universal changes I'm going to cover. There are definitely more, but none that I feel have a significant impact on Aoko's specific game plan. So let's move on to her more character-specific changes. Air throw has been adjusted so that the untech duration doesn't scale as hard when you land an air throw. Combining this with the orb changes that we'll soon discuss, what this basically means is it's easier to continue a combo after you throw an opponent into an orb. Backdash, Aoko's A normals, and her stand B now have slightly more recovery. Her stand B having more recovery makes it more susceptible to whiff punishing and heat. Her A normals having more recovery is part of a universal initiative to nerf reverse beating. Which, imagine using reverse beat pressure on Aoko. Aoko's jumping charge C can now be cancelled into normal moves when just the beam hits. This doesn't really feel like a huge change to me, but it exists now, I guess. You can do some new combo extensions with it. Aoko's infamous 4C overhead is now minus on block, but it is still safe. But honestly, I really don't have any idea who would be foolish enough to use 4C without an orb in place. Like, who would do that? I just don't have any idea. As part of a buff to the universal anti-air, Aoko's 3C now has more active frames. I really haven't experimented with this button enough to be sure of how good this change is though. So if anyone else is experimenting and they feel like there's a big change to this, please let me know. Aoko's Light Beam now has more range, as well as its first follow-up. This will help out with some niche confirms, and will generally make it a better poking tool. The third follow-up also recovers more quickly, enabling some corner confirms that previously weren't possible. Charged Medium Beam now charges significantly faster. This opens up a number of new combo routes, especially routes that are near the corner while not being at the corner. It also creates a meaty OTG setup that isn't exactly good, but it can catch forward techers. Six BC now recovers much more quickly. Some characters used to be able to punish 6 BC at 3/4 to full screen with shield BC counter, air dash into jump C, but this is now very difficult / no longer possible. The faster recovery also enables some new corner combo routing, but this, from what I've seen, has not been too much of a damage increase. Aoko's slide, or her 623A input, now travels further forward. This has the unfortunate side effect of making some of her confirms more difficult, in exchange for enabling a link into 2cc into slide, which, as far as I'm aware, doesn't seem all that useful. It doesn't really deal more damage, and the routing is kind of hard to make work. Aoko's EXDP got some improved hitboxes to ensure that the move doesn't hit and then fall out in combos, or as a reversal. A very appreciated change. That said, Aoko's EXDP has much more recovery on whiff, so there will be less degeneracy where we get out of jail for free because the opponent jumped when we decide to reversal. Aoko's Moon Overhead also receives similar hitbox improvements and can now be cancelled after landing into EX moves. This was alluded to when talking about the throw changes, but all of Aoko's orbs now leave the opponent in hit stun for much longer, enabling some very interesting routes that previously were not possible. Combos that start with Orb now also have much better scaling, which means that Orb is now one of her strongest combo starters. Proximity orbs now last significantly longer. This makes some proxy orb setups more intimidating to deal with. However, if a proxy orb is in the startup frames of exploding and you get hit, the orb will now fizzle. This means that previously ambiguous scenarios where you could trade with proxy orbs are no longer possible. Negative edge orbs will now disappear when Aoko blocks an attack, including projectiles. Note that you can still detonate an orb right before you block an attack, and the orb will not fizzle on block. Air EX Orb can now be jump cancelled. Basically, it's even safer than it was before. J6BC now pops the opponent slightly more upwards than before, and can be jump cancelled almost immediately on hit. And Rain, Aoko's light air beam, now has notably improved landing recovery. These two changes enable a new extension in Aoko's combo routing, which looks as follows. On top of being flashy, this increases the damage on a few of her mid-screen routes, particularly on her 2A starter. Her rain changes dramatically improve her Okizeme when landing with a meaty beam. You can now reliably use rain to safe jump. That does it for this video. Feel free to pause and replay sections of the video to review Aoko's changes, as well as review some of the new routing possibilities that have opened up as a result. Thanks again for watching, and make sure to unleash those finger guns, alright?
いいじゃない発情大事まだまだ